one of the things that's really been a delight in my working life is that I approach, and more often than not, they will say yes, um, people that we've all heard of, and many, many others that are museum directors or curators or art historians that are maybe obviously less well known. And there is almost always a connection because I arrive enthusiastic with a track record, but enthusiastic and with good questions about a subject that they are really interested in. And actually, people like to talk about, as I am now, people like to talk about the areas in which they're passionate. If somebody's asking interesting questions, people generally, if they've made a bit of time for you, they like to talk about it. Um, Now, often I will come and in the process of that interview, actually, the person I'm interviewing will often learn some things too, which is always nice. Because, for example, when I was doing Mozart, Beethoven, Chopin, and Haydn, those four films, often I would be telling these great musicians, the world's best musicians, I'd be telling them things about the biography that they didn't know because they've never had the time to study it. And there are definitely a good handful of those musicians that I've stayed friends with. Um, there's one pianist and his wife that I'm going to stay with in Amsterdam in 2 weeks' time, who I started filming 15 years ago. Um, and the art directors and historians and curators, my biggest problem is because we're making 3 or 4 films a year, this is an increasing body of people. But yes, it is one of the nice side effects that we do. I mean, social media, which needs to be cautiously used, all this technology has its problems, but it is also a remarkable tool. We're doing this interview on Zoom. I mean, it's fantastic. I can I can send out a text or a WhatsApp message to hundreds of art historians, people that I've met, directors. I was just having a text message with the director of the Whitney about the Hopper. So yes, I find that. I mean, for example, 95% of the people I interview, I find them to be extremely nice, extremely knowledgeable, very open, very friendly, very helpful, and easy to talk to beyond the interview. The key, what is the takeaway from this? The key is um, to be genuinely interested in the project, to realize when you go into somebody's environment, whether it's their room or the gallery, that you are not important just because you're a filmmaker. You've got to treat them with complete respect. The way that living room is when you arrive is how it has to be when you leave. If you move a chair, you put it back. If you move a book, you put it back. You don't scratch anything. You don't, treat everybody with respect. Um, but probably the most important thing in a way is prepare your questions, as I know you've done. Um, you've got a limited amount of time with people, and you've really got to think, well, what is this? What am I trying to get from this person? What are the areas that this person can most help me with? Um, and I think it's one of the most important things of documentary filmmaking is preparing the questions that you have if you are talking to people. Um, and I think pretty quickly people realize that you've got, it's a serious endeavor. And then you get into a conversation with them. They become genuinely interested in the backwards and forwards of that interview.